Hello, everybody. This is Damesandtea with Jernika. You know what today is. It is Tea Time Tuesdays tea. I have Robert back.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Rob Optimistic because we are optimistic about the future. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Welcome to episode number 6, co-parenting. Last week we left off talking about parenting. So this week we're going to talk about co-parenting. When we left off last week, we talked about resetting. So my question to you is, how is it when your son goes to his mom's house and come back to you? How is the reset process?
Oh, diving straight into it. So I guess when we speak in regards to like resetting, right? It's not necessarily starting over in a sense, right? I mean, I guess it's reset like the mentality, or maybe resetting emotions. I mean, I guess the answer to the question would be more so like resetting the way that he would probably respond to certain stimulus, right? When the child is with their mom, they get the more nurturing side of it. Then when they're with their dad, they get the more assertive side, maybe a tad bit of aggression. And so I guess kind of resetting the way of how he handles emotions, or like a challenge that a lot of co-parenting parents have, right? When people deal with children. People always think, a lot of people, I would assume, believe that once you have a great co-parenting relationship, that makes things 10 times easier, when in all reality, I believe it makes it maybe 5 times easier, 3 times easier. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's easier than having a bad co-parenting relationship, but when we speak on things like resetting, you know what I'm saying? Those are things that you wouldn't necessarily have to deal with as often if the child had both of their parents in their lives, you know what I'm saying? So in regards to resetting of a child, it's like more so like whenever he's with his mom, he behaves a certain way. He may respond to certain things in a different way. It may trigger different types of emotions versus when he's with dad, you know what I'm saying? He has to reset how he interacts, not with the world, but how he responds in a certain way, because it's like you want to respond to get maybe a certain response from that parent figure. You know what I'm saying? So granted, for instance, if he's riding his bike, it may be a time to where he's probably riding his bike with his mom and he falls. And when he falls, the emotion that's triggered is more so like sadness, because he's used to maybe getting that affection from mom. Granted, if he's with dad, and that's not saying that that's specifically what happens, but in most cases, if he's with dad, you know what I'm saying, he falls on the bike, it may not trigger that sad emotion. It may trigger a more prideful emotion, you know what I'm saying, to kind of so dad, like, hey dad, I'm tough, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they may come from how the parent may enforce that on that child, right?
I never had to do with co-parenting, so I don't know if that's an advantage or a disadvantage. I think co-parenting for the child, it's in some ways the advantage, because he gets the life of both worlds. He'll have 2 parties, he'll have that, but ultimately I would prefer to have both parents, but in some cases it's not. And I find in your co-parenting experience, you had some good points and you've had some bad. I feel like dealing with the situation with co-parenting, sometimes it is hard to reset.
Well, we still continue to frame around the reset part of it. You know what I'm saying? Having to reset your behavior, reset how you do certain things when you see a different person walk into the room. I don't think it's more so on a trying to mess up the routine standpoint, more so of I guess it's keeping that respect to the person that's around you, and acknowledging that, oh, hold on, let me chill. Somebody's reminding me that I shouldn't be doing this. Hopefully, the goal is for it to get to a stage to where it's like, well, I know I'm not supposed to ride this bike in this house, because I don't want to break anything. Even if you let me, even if you tell me that I can ride this bike, I know for a fact that
I can ask you a question.
Yes, I can give you an
answer. Why are you just hoping on riding a bike in the house?
Well, because I say that because when I riding a bike, I was riding anything with wheels. Like he always like, why are you riding scooters in the house? You know what I'm saying? Like that.
It seems like it's more of jealousy aspect of it.
Well, maybe just because I don't have enough room.
No. It ain't got nothing to do with the room.
Because I ain't
when I say thank you, let's go.
Well, but I look into why I wasn't able to do it. Right?
You probably didn't have the room to do it.
Well, not necessarily. Okay.
No. So if you was able to ride a scooter in the house, would you have a problem with him riding a scooter in the house now?
Well, no. Until I find.
My point.
But you're taking it more than
my point. He's hoping on riding a scooter because he had a problem with my baby riding a scooter. He have a whole runway that he can ride the scooter.
And the minute he rides the scooter and bump into one of these things and they break, daddy gotta come pay for it.
That's what happens.
Exactly.
That's
so in order to prevent
but he
that
does
from
not
happening,
do that. Okay.
what child intentionally says, "Oh, I'm going to break this"? It happens by accident, right?
See, that goes back to what
prevent.
I'm saying. It's the jealousy of the kids with the grandkids, and unfortunately, that's what happens.
So I guess it's a co-grandparenting.
Sometimes it has to be, and you interfere with what's going on. When I have a routine with him here, and when you come, you just mess up the routine, you know. But back to resetting, I find yes, when he come from his mom, he do have to reset sometime because I feel she do let him get away with a lot, or he's able to do more there than he is. I don't want to say do more there here. He has a free will. He does whatever he wants here. I would be honest with y'all. But you do have to reset because he's accustomed to doing certain things there and he can't do them here. Let me say it. It's not much, but it's more leaner. And my disciplinary with him is more of a sit down. I hollows the line. Do I have to put my hands on him? No. Even though somebody said I'm aggressive. I'm not aggressive with him. Okay, let's be clear. But I think what you find challenging in co-parenting, or what have you found challenging in co-parenting? Maybe that's the better question.
Him having to separate, right? I mean, that's one of the biggest challenges that I have with co-parenting. I mean, having to go home whenever he's not with me. You know what I'm saying? Looking at those empty rooms, those empty toys that just collects dust until he gets there. That's for me. I mean, of course, there's a lot of challenges when it comes to co-parenting, but the top one for me is just a separation. You know what I'm saying? Not being able to be there more, you know what I'm saying? Or vice versa on the flip side of it. You know, he has to go with the other parent at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to kind of not mold things into him, but just be able to really be fully present 100% of the time when you have to co-parent. You know what I'm saying? Having to walk past those empty rooms until that room has been occupied again. Having to sometimes I even leave toys on the floor when he leaves, just to you know, see him there type thing until he comes back. You know.
So how do you feel like y'all deal with disagreements when it comes to parenting? Because I know both parenting styles are different. So how do y'all try to deal with the disagreements aspect of parenting?
I've gotten a whole lot better with that. You know, I think it definitely reflects on individual people, just that person individually. And I know for me, it took a while for me to be more open-minded to her opinion on the way that I usually run things, you know, because I guess that sometimes I do feel like maybe he gets away with a little bit more things over there than what he does with me, you know, and it may not necessarily be because she's allowed it. It's mainly because it can also be because he tests her a whole lot more because she's more nurturing and because I'm more assertive, you know, and I have the ability to deepen my voice, you know what I'm saying, to get things, you know, situated around the home. And she doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It has to be more constant reminders because he doesn't, in some cases, it seemed like he wasn't looking at her as like authority. It was more so like, you know, I'll do what you say sometimes, you know, not taking it really serious, you know what I'm saying? But in regards to how do we deal with disagreements is now we do our best to not do it like in front of him. You know what I'm saying? It was even times where I would call like, hey, listen, you don't believe what your son did, and this is how I responded, just to hear that opinion from that other person to see, okay, making sure that I wasn't being too aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when it comes to co-parenting, you only get that one side, and you don't have that other side kind of trying to save you. You know, I'd be like, I'm gonna use the term with good cop, bad cop. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm bad cop. Sometimes you would need that good cop just so the message can be delivered in the best way, and it's not like they're focusing on too much of the bad or too much of the good for that particular matter. So dealing with disagreements now is fairly easier than what it was in the past. You know.
So how you feel like you got there?
Better in the relationship first before we can better being individual parents, right? Better in our personal relationships first, just to be able to hear that person's opinion. Because if I don't care about what you do in any other aspect, I'm for sure not about to care about what you do as a mom. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that in order to really fully be present while she would kind of advise me about our child, you know, we have to have a better relationship. You know what I'm saying? I feel like and
you have to also be open-minded at times.
Definitely, but that's what I'm saying. Like the mind wasn't open; it was fully closed with just the image of everything that we possibly have been through in the past. You know what I'm saying? So when it
I'm saying now that it's better with the communication, you have to be open-minded.
Yeah,
because just because you say something is one way. It don't necessarily, people look at things in two different perspectives sometimes, and sometimes you need to see it in two different perspectives in order to get that person's perspective. So how do you deal with a situation where you feel 100% of what you're saying and y'all totally disagree? Like I don't have an example off the top of my head, but if you feel like, well, talk to your child's mom and be like, well, look, I don't think he should do this because ABC, and she feel like we're gonna do this because ABC. So how do you solve that if you feel strong about something and she feels strong about something?
Really coming up to a compromise, and it's definitely it'll just require more evidence as to what is more beneficial. You know what I'm saying? Possibly even testing out both methods. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's test it out this way. We haven't really came to that point to where it's like we strictly don't agree on this at all. It's always been somebody sacrificing, their own intuition for the sake of the child. You know what I'm saying? Because you never want to get to a class where it's like, okay, I don't want you running in the house, or she'd be like, no, I let him run in the house. You know what I'm saying? I feel like and that's not a specific, that's just like, it's just for example purposes. But if it gets to a point like that, and it's like, well, I'm saying this and I'm saying this, in order to for us to
because you're a debater. Yeah,
definitely. You know what I'm saying? But in order to kind of get to an agreement, we would have to talk about the pros and the cons and to see why this is applicable, or why this is, or why is it beneficial and why is it not, or what can happen in the long term. You know what I'm saying? I feel like being open-minded can but fully benefit that whole case in the situation. And again, this is me speaking strictly off of, we never had a situation to where we didn't come to an agreement on something. I mean, I know maybe sometimes in the past it may happen, but to prepare for it, in my mind, I believe that, just like I said, weighing the pros and cons.
Getting to the point that you are now, because people saying this, they're gonna know you came a very long ways. So how did y'all get to the point now to be better at co-parenting? You had to get to that point, it had to get to a point where you get a wake-up call, like, you know what we're doing is not working. So at what point you found yourself feeling like, you know what, if I don't tweak something, or if she doesn't tweak something, this is going to get worse and worse. And y'all, what point did you realize that this have to be the betterment? At the end of the day, it's the betterment of the child.
By taking myself out of the equation and allowing time to kind of flow through and getting out of the mindset of things needing to happen like right now, like right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes things can't be resolved right then. What's the term? Rome wasn't built in a day. In order to eat an elephant, you got to eat it a bite at a time. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to eat that whole elephant in one sitting. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, life doesn't work like that. It's like, you put yourself in situations to have to deal with things a certain way. That's why there's like rules in place. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's on a karma standpoint, whether it's on a biblical standpoint, there's rules to kind of prevent, to try our best to prevent ourselves from ending up in those types of positions. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But in the event that we are in that position, taking it a day at a time and not getting into the habit of like rushing things. You know what I'm saying? I believe that even with growing up in a society that we're growing up in, how things are so like quick, you know what I'm saying? You want something, you get it quick. You want this, you get it quick. You know what I'm saying? But things that can't be given quickly, it seems to be like the end of the world. And I had to get into my head that like, yo, it's not the end of the world. Like, it's going to get better. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that it's going to get better over time and still putting forth the effort to make things get better, just not as aggressive as me trying to get it better within that day. You know what I'm saying? Again, taking a bite here. Okay, the elephant is slowly being eaten as the.
So you feel like you have a good co-parenting relationship?
I mean, compared to I would say
yes. As of today, you feel like you have a good co-parenting relationship?
Yeah.
Because it's two people always have. Now, I might have a surprise guest. Do you think the surprise guest say, well, our co-parent relationship is the best?
Well, yeah, let me give a reason why. Because I always answer those types of questions off of a comparison, right? You will only know somebody is short if they're standing next to somebody tall. You want to know somebody is skinny if they're next to somebody big or you see somebody big. So you will only know if something is good if you have something to compare it to. And I would say yes, that I believe that we have a great co-parenting relationship compared to what it's been like in the past. And what had made it better, in my opinion, from my viewpoint, was the understanding of each other, like how to talk to someone and not only to someone, to that specific person. You know what I'm saying? Because some people can be told in this particular, with this energy, or can be told in this manner. You know what I'm saying? But would they receive it in a different way? And so to answer your question, yes, because compared to how it's been before, I believe that now we're able to listen to each other more, understand each other more, and focus more on the ultimate goal.
Okay, y'all, we have another guest that's gonna come on, give us an intermission. We have the other co-parenter, co-parentee, or whatever you want to call. Let's see how this goes. Give me 1 minute and I'll be right back. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
And we are back. We have a guest today. We have Shelby. Welcome to Damesandtea with Jernica.
The baby mama.
Okay, we talking about co-parent. Let's get to the juice. Unexpected guest today. Sorry, son. But we want to have both sides of the co-parenting aspect of it. Robert, I'm not going to tell you exactly what he said at the end of it. But how do you think co-parenting is going?
So to be honest, our co-parenting relationship is wonderful.
Did y'all rehearse this somewhere?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
seriously. Like, we really have a great co-parenting relationship.
How did y'all get to this point? Because, people going to see this that knows us and know it was, a little rocky
Yeah.
for a couple of years. And we're to this point, and I'm grateful to be at this point.
Absolutely.
So how do you feel you got to this point?
Well, to be honest, I felt as if we got to this point just by simply letting our guards down. We definitely had to work on each other individually, right? To come together. Yes, it's about Casey, don't get me wrong. We love our baby. But at the end of the day, we really had to kind of focus on our relationship as well, our friendship. So I think we got to this point just by simply building that respect for each other. And once we decided to have a high level of respect for each other, that's when things totally changed. Dang, he was once my best friend, And
you say that, but everybody says that about him. He's so compassionate. You can say what you want. I'm compassionate. I'm not just aggressive. But I feel like he's a very good soul. So, and if something happens, this is a little off, but even when we got into it before in life and we wasn't talking for a couple of days or whatever, it's impactful. You know what I'm saying?
It's very
it was impactful to you too, right?
Mm-hmm. To be honest.
To be honest, right?
Very. And just the type of individual that he is, he's an amazing individual. Just look at him. In addition to his looks and everything, he's amazing father. I love the father of my child. He's amazing, and
oh my God.
I love the thing with our son. Now, before I didn't necessarily agree with it. I thought he was too aggressive, right? And I felt like he was talking to him as if he was some other dude on the street. And I'm like, look, Case it is, however old he was at the time, or let's just say 5 because he's 5 right now. I'm like, he's not going to be receptive to that. So once we did, start to build that level of respect for each other, we were able to, let our guards down and to become more active listeners with each other.
And I'm glad you said that.
Right.
About him being aggressive. This dominoes from last week's episode when I was told that I was aggressive. Okay, I'm saying that to say you're nurturing to him. So
right.
I find that the way I raised them, I had to be a little aggressive because they're going to school. So once they get to school, I didn't want to be that parent to get the call saying my child got bullied. So at some points, and you are a nurturer more of anything else.
Yes.
And I can attest to that. Anybody know me say, I'll say she's a good mother. I can't take that from her. But with that being said, you don't think you have to come a little bit off the nurturing side so he can know that he has to be able to defend himself? Because the way these little kids is now, y'all raising y'all little rugrats. They don't have no censor. You know what I'm saying? So they're really be bullying your child. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And Casey's super friendly, so that's definitely a concern of mine, for sure. Mm-hmm. And I get it to you guys, these two. First and foremost, I feel attacked, y'all. I feel like they had a whole segment, just talking about how soft I am and all this other extra stuff.
To clarify,
I was aggressive.
Like y'all was saying that I'm aggressive and maybe she's nurturing. I feel like in both aspects, we're both pure, right? And I guess that's what made it so hard in the beginning for us to not to parent, but to be receptive of each other's opinions. You know what I'm saying? I feel like by us being both peer and us believing that we're peer, when it came to being parented or being corrected on what we were doing, it's but my intentions are right? My intentions are purely for the betterment of our, for the child. Right. You know what I'm saying? But instead of it being for the betterment of our child. It's more so for the betterment of my child. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was too individualized to where we
that's
wasn't
a good
really
one.
focusing on, you know, the ultimate goal. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe none of us wants our child to be bullied. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I have to understand that she didn't want my child to be de-bullied too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a such thing as being too soft and just too hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like our son got a pretty well balanced, and I feel like in order for us to really intensify that middle ground, we both have to be receptive of each other, right? And we both have to be listeners and understanding, like, you know what, maybe I am too aggressive, or you know what, maybe I am too soft in these different types of aspects, if that makes sense.
And then also, you also have to realize that I don't feel, and this is not just you, the both of you, sometimes don't give Kason enough credit, meaning like y'all say, but he just 4 or he just 5 or well, he really don't. He is a very smart.
Oh, we say that.
I was going to say,
we say every other day. We say the same. Even when, and I said, you know me, I'm a comparer, right? I wouldn't know somebody is good until you think somebody is bad. And he is making somebody bad.
I'm not
no Damesandtea. Just last week, we had to think about saying about lying. I'm like, no, he tell his little story.
Yeah, he does.
Robert may not give enough credit, but I do. I give my baby all the credit.
Yeah, so y'all have to be very, he is a, y'all don't understand.
He's very smart.
And I'm not saying that. That's because it's my grandson.
Be manipulative as well, but you can't say exactly if you encourage those things too. Because as we said in the beginning of the segment, when we talked about co-grandparenting, manipulating, yeah, because we're going to talk on manipulation, we're going to talk on a full aspect
of it. Yeah, you can, but the thing, I'm not going to let you do that. You're not about to
but
he really is taking over. This is Robert
in his house, and you know for a fact
that
mom is going to be like, yo, he can do that. You know for a fact that he going to look at me like, I can do it. He's manipulating the scene of the scene. You know, when you respect the level.
Right? Yes. I don't mean to cut baby daddy off, but I want you guys to know, now that I'm here, I'm able to defend myself. Okay.
And what are you defending?
I'm defending the fact that I am pretty assertive. I don't want to be aggressive with our child. I am pretty assertive when it comes to Kason. Now, I'm not like his dad, who's like on it every single second. So that's something I could definitely work on.
I'm gonna disagree.
For sure.
Because he is aggressive, assertive, but you see that. But sometimes I'll look and be like, "That's the time he should be telling him something like that."
That's a good point.
Cause I hear y'all, but I'm telling you I'm aggressive. But it's because of them. It's because of them. They be telling me that I'm too aggressive, and I'm overreacting over a lot of things. So when he do certain things, I just be like,
"But you see,"
and I let him do it around y'all too.
That's where Kason get it from.
What?
What you just did? What you just did?
What I just do?
What you just said?
I put the power in y'all hands. If somebody's continuing
no, but we're
say something,
it's very
y'all make me feel like that I'm doing too much. If I feel like I'm doing too much, then I'm gonna let off. When I'm
because you already know he's doing something that he shouldn't, and now you want to fall back because you know we're sitting. I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm sitting there. Oh, I ain't gonna say you in your mind.
Well,
I'm not gonna say nothing.
I'm not doing it because I know y'all won't say anything to him. I'm doing it because I know y'all might say something to me. And since I feel like y'all gonna say something to me, well, maybe he is supposed to ride this scooter to and from. Maybe he is supposed to be throwing his football in his life. And maybe he is supposed to break the light bulb and just let it fall and then let it be an accident. Maybe I am supposed to spend $300 on a light because they want to let my child use the house.
I'm correcting our child. Thank you. But
let's get back to my child, because he just said a couple of minutes later we had to get to the point of not mine, it's our, now it's mine.
And look at him. See, y'all, it's time to cut. No, but that's the thing though too. That's what I feel about our co-parenting relationship. We definitely had to come to agreement. Like, we have to stop saying my child.
And the same question I asked him, I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah.
At what point of these years that y'all been going through the difficult times, at what point you woke up and was like, you know what, enough is enough. Okay, it's about Kason.
Honestly, it was the point where I know I said I truly forgave him for like the stuff that kind of like transpired in our romantic relationship. When I was like, okay, I'm allowing my hurt to affect not only our child, but, you know, just like our co-parenting relationship and everything. And just kind of seeing how he was with Kason, and he was like a single father, like doing his own thing and stuff. It just really made me respect him more. And not only that, he was my best friend. You know what I mean? He still is my best friend, you know? And it just hurt to see us like that. I'm like, well, you know, at a certain point when I started to find peace for myself and kind of just started like working on myself, I'm like, you know what? I want this for our co-parenting relationship as well. I don't just want this for me and to be fussing with him. Like, that defeats the whole purpose of
and
like,
it's mentally, it's draining.
It
It's draining. Any disagreement enough, anything can be draining. So,
it was. Like, my heart was beating fast every time I was like come to meet up with him. Like,
because you don't know what was going to transpire
right.
on both ways.
On both ways.
I said on both, but let's be clear. Let's be centered on both ways, because he probably felt the same. I'm not gonna say he felt the same way. Y'all feeling the same thing, and I don't know what y'all about. Not knowing y'all feeling the same way, if that makes sense.
That's
you
true.
probably figured, oh, she coming to mess with. F with me right now. Fuck with me right now. This is the grown-ups.
I was trying to be nice.
And
I was
you
a nice
probably
one.
felt like, you probably felt like, oh, now what are you gonna have to say today? You know what I'm saying? So
And
both
I
of
did
y'all
feel like
feel,
that.
and both of y'all feeling the same way. You know,
I felt like he
what
was trying to
gonna
parent me as well.
That's
like,
how you honestly felt.
Right. I was like, I'm not
So do you
your
look,
child.
when you look back with the progress y'all made through co-parenting, do you feel like he was actually trying to parent you now? You still feel like that?
No, not now.
No, I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
We like I said, it was really, if I can just give you one answer as to, you know, how our relationship came to what it is, or come to what it is now, is we developed a high level of respect for each other.
And the communication.
Friendship.
You have to have communication, because that's the key to any relationship.
Right.
Friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Communication is a big factor. And you see, or y'all don't want to see, because y'all are being selfish, the effects it has on the child. You know, a lot of parents don't realize the back and forth affects the child in the long run. So even if you disagree, you can't do it in front of the child, like you were saying earlier. Like you try not to do it in front of him, even if you feel like she's wrong or whatever, or vice versa. If you feel like he's wrong, do it behind the scenes, opposed to in front of the baby. You know.
Absolutely.
So the same question I asked him before you came. Have you ever had to deal with a difficult situation where you felt like you was right and he felt like he was right, and it wasn't no medium, like he didn't want to budge and you don't want to budge? How you dealt with that?
So to be honest, I'm trying to think like, I can't think like specifics, you know, but there was definitely a time where we both like disagreed. But again, it comes down to a level of respect, and I said, okay, well, I need to hear what he has to say. Let me put on my active listening ears to hear what he has to say and really try to put myself in his shoes. And when I did that, I'm like, all right, you know, and everybody knows how Robert is. He should have been a lawyer, to be honest, because this dude will come with the facts, and I'm just sitting there like, well, I don't want you doing that because I just don't want you to. And I'm his mom. Right. You know, and I was
you have to become receptive to what he's saying.
Exactly.
And I couldn't be too bossy. Like, I feel like I guess if she felt like she had to listen more, I feel like I had to listen less. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I was paying attention to too many things, trying to overanalyze every situation, when in our reality, like, I realized, like, yo, it's kind of tough for me too. Going through the co-parenting can be, I guess, the challenge of sending him back the way that he came, right? I feel like we missed a part of time to where it's like he couldn't be hurt. You know, he couldn't have a scratch. He couldn't have a cold. He couldn't, just nervous of that, because we would feel like, dang, this will reflect on me as a parent. You know what I'm saying? It will reflect on something that I did or didn't do. Either lack of supervision, either because I'm not being attentive, you know what I'm saying? And I guess just not misinterpreting, or just missing the fact that we had an active child. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time, if we're being honest, that he had that issue in daycare. You know what I'm saying? And at first, I was more so like, yo, she ain't watching my child. But he in daycare. You know what I'm saying? It ain't much that he can possibly do it. Even if he was to do it at home, you know, I guess realizing that, you know, he's an active child. So if he was to run and fall and something like that, I feel like it got better when we finally had the openness to be like, hey, listen, Casey got this going on. This got this going on. And it's not looking like, oh, well, what are you not doing? Or what are you know what I'm saying,
and
doing
you know
too
what? I
much
want to apologize sincerely to you about that.
On the camera.
I mean,
You know?
we're going to cut this. I want to like sincerely apologize for all of the hurt that I've caused you during our co-parenting relationship, our previous relationship, all that good stuff. I know I've done it before. I want to do it on camera though, in front of everybody, because like
this is tea.
Where's the teacup? But no, like I really do, because I do respect you as a father, and you're such an amazing father. I can honestly say that. I didn't want to admit it, you know, back in the day. I was like, yeah, right. But I wanted to sincerely apologize. And to be honest, when it came down to Kason, whenever he would get hurt or something like that, like, I would be like, oh, well, what you doing? Like, you're not watching it, whatever. It's because Robert put me through the ringer going back and forth in court. And this boy was recording things and trying to catch me and stuff. And I'm like,
by any means necessary.
that's what I'm saying. And so that's when I kind of was like, all right, well, I'm going to reciprocate that same energy. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I just wanted peace with my baby daddy. I was like, you know, every time, like, I just missed him as a friend. And obviously we couldn't, you know, have been friends like that. But I just, yeah. So I just want to sincerely apologize for that. And,
well, I accept
but
that apology.
yeah, like, we're in a better space, you know.
Would you like to apologize for anything too?
I don't.
Okay. But I do want to make it knowledgeable that I've never thought you to be a bad mom. You know what I'm saying? I never thought like, yo, she's a bad mom. You know what I'm saying? I may not have liked you as a person, like I honestly say, you know what I'm saying? And of course we way past that. You know, and I had to get past that to be more receptive to what you were saying. You know how you respect your opinion. Like you said, we have to respect each other more.
Exactly.
And I feel like by me looking or holding you to, you know, old traits, I feel like I wasn't respecting your opinion or your, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't valuing, you know, your parents and valuing anything that you would say in regards to not only us or even our child, period. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you this too. Do you feel, and this, because this is a question I have to ask myself, do you feel as if like we were holding on to some hurt that had transpired like between us two, like in our relationship, and we was kind of letting it affect?
That's why our guard was up. You know what I'm saying? Our guard was up the whole time, but when we finally
let that go,
that guard down, it was more so I'm not letting this guard down for you, or you're not letting this guard down for me. We're letting this guard down so we can talk to each other, so we can get to him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Type thing. And I feel like
absolutely
Progress on Damesandtea.
Yeah. Even though I feel like we could have mended our relationship without him being present, I feel like it was much more intentional because he was present.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and so
I agree 1000%. Like, I'm very proud of, you know, the father that you became. Like, I know that was like once we had Kason, you were like, okay, stuff started like shifting with you, and I know you were very nervous about, you know, being a good father. And so I want you to know you are can I curse on here? A damn good father. Don't forget me.
Oh my God.
Sorry. You are.
Raw and uncut. This show is, y'all got apologies here first. On Damesandtea. And I also want to say, I believe that you are an amazing father. I always tell you this. I'll have my talks with you monthly or whatever, letting you know how good of a father that you are. And on a flip note, I've never, even everything that we've been through, and Robert can attest to this, I've always said that you're a good mother. You know, despite how I may feel about you in this moment, I never took that away from you being a good mom. Right. And Kason, if you wasn't a good mom, we all know, because Casey will say it, but he loves his mom. You know what I'm saying? So that shows that you are a good mom. So I would never try to take that away from you, all the past that we do have as well, you know?
I know, and I definitely appreciate that, and I'm grateful for being on the show today, too. Like,
because everybody can't get on here now. Everybody can't get on here.
It's a line.
I love it.
But even with having a good co-parenting relationship, therapy is good. I do believe that you guys still need to go to therapy, because sometimes old stuff, like we just saw, resurface, and we can say that we got over certain things, but some things we really haven't got over. You know what I'm saying? So therapy is really good for any parents, even in a marriage, to go still have therapy within your marriage. Even if you've been married 20 years, sometimes you need to just get a therapy to get in therapists to get in the middle of certain things. And I believe therapy will be good for y'all to continue on with that great co-parenting relationship.
Yeah.
With that, on that note, thank you, Shelby, for joining us today.
Y'all can follow me at Ishalbewealthy. Okay. On Instagram.
Yeah. Positive note. We're gonna leave it. You know, every time we leave on a positive note. So my positive note for today with co-parenting is keep the communication going. Without communication, there is nothing. You also have to make sure you put the child first, because at the end of the day, the child is the top priority of everything. So communication is the key. That's my positive note.
My positive note is to emphasize, to piggyback off of what she's saying. You know, keep that communication going. It's just to highlight exactly what communication is. You know, everybody can talk, right? But it takes a strong person to really listen and understand what that person is saying, to try to talk to that person in the best way.
Your positive note?
My positive note would be simply to make it a point each and every day to choose love and respect. Regardless if you run to a homeless person on the street, like, choose to love that person anyway and show them respect, you know? And I feel like if everyone followed that motto, like, this world would be a much better place. I want all of that.
This is Damesandtea with Janika, and I'm out.